We're already starting to get like the chills and like the buzzing feeling and everything. And she lights the candle. And at this point, we both close our eyes and we both begin to like feel our vibrations rising. We start to get a little dizzy. And it doesn't take long before we both feel the presence of 3 women in the room.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Goddess Hangs.
Episode 63.
Woo! Episode 63.
We made it!
I'm Sadie.
And I'm Juliet.
Obviously. And we created Goddess Hangs podcast to make the world of mindset, manifestation, and magic more relatable
and fun.
We are in sync today.
We really are. I've missed it just being the 2 of us. We brought the boys on and it was fun and all, but I'm happy to get back
The girls
to
are
basics. The girls are back again.
The girls are back in town, back in town.
We've made it and we're back.
We made it and we're back. We made it to episode 63. I can't hardly believe it.
I know. We hope you enjoyed the double feature last week.
I know. That was exciting.
That was a fun little surprise. We sort of surprised ourselves with that.
We were going to make it 2 separate weeks, and then we were like, you know what? Our gift to the Goddess Hangs community, dropping a bonus episode.
So that was fun. I was thinking about how the tones were so kind of hilariously different. And I loved it because I was like, I bet no matter who's listening, we'll be able to pick out like, ooh, that reminds me of my relationship, or that reminds me of my boyfriend or my husband or partner or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun to, you know what else was obvious was that our men don't listen to our podcast because we're like, here, this is what you say in the first 10 seconds of the show, and they're like, what? But that's okay.
We don't want them to listen. This is girls' time.
No, this is goddess time.
I don't listen to Craig's podcast, so
yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, like, that's your thing. Who's got the time?
Who has the time?
If you really need the extra view, I got your back, babe. But I think he's doing fine.
Yes,
so
exactly. Yes. So, how was your Valentine's Day? I saw you had a lot of surprises.
I did. Well, it's funny because Craig is a good listener, because I kind of told him, I was like, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You don't need to do anything dramatic. But I was disappointed in the past. So I want you to know, get me a card, plan something, because it's like, if I don't set an expectation, he's got nothing to go off of. And he, in his head, he's like, everything's fine and great. And then I'm like left disappointed. So I kind of told him, because a couple years ago, like, I got him the best gift ever, a date to the gun range, because he loves shooting. And he got me like a plant and no card. And I wrote like this heartfelt card, and it was our first Valentine's together. So I just felt like embarrassed and like sad, and I was like, he doesn't like me as much as I like him, which was not true at all. And so I was like, I'm just letting you know, I will feel sad if I do more for you than you do for me. So you went all out this year.
Oh, he made up for it
by 1,000.
I love that.
So you all know we got each other bikes like a month ago as early Valentine's Day gifts, and we kind of agreed that was it, because we spent quite a bit on those bikes. But then Craig was like, I got a surprise for you. And I was like, babe, you weren't supposed to get anything else. Secretly just like, oh my god, I'm so excited. So he did really good. He surprised me with tickets to Hamilton. Yay! Yeah, I was freaking out. I cried. I watched a documentary while I was getting ready to go to Hamilton about Hamilton, cried twice, cried like 4 times during Hamilton. Then I had to rush off to a Super Bowl party with all of Craig's friends, which was so fun. But Hamilton was incredible. Saw it at Pantages Theater, which is a beautiful theater in LA. It was across from where we went out for Halloween, that hotel, the W.
Oh, right.
It was right there. I was like, oh, I've been in this little street area before. But it was incredible. It was so good. I have specific thoughts about how they cast different people that I want to discuss with someone who's seen it in LA, but no spoilers. I don't want to put any opinions in anyone's head before they see it. So I'm eagerly awaiting somebody to talk it out with. But it was so fun. And then he was like, oh, I have a surprise on Monday too, like on Valentine's. So that was Sunday, the day before. And he's like, I have a surprise on Monday too at 12:30. And I'm like, another surprise? So I was like, should I put makeup on? Like, what should I wear? And he's like, oh no, don't put makeup on. We're going to be rumbling and tumbling or something. And I was like, is he taking me to a workout class? Like, what's going on? But we went to his sister's, an incredible Ayurvedic healer and esthetician. So we went and got facials from his sister. Which was so amazing and felt so good, and I can't wait to go back. And I actually gifted you one during Christmas time, so we need to schedule that for you.
Can't find the paper, but okay.
No, she knows.
Okay, let's schedule that today.
I can reprint it. So.
Okay, amazing. I've been meant to tell you that. When I saw you get yours, I was like, oh wait, I have this too.
She put this chocolate face mask on my face. I wanted to eat it. It smelled. It was really chocolate, you know, because everything she uses is all natural. So it was like real pure chocolate. Oh my God. Everything was so awesome. There's all these steps to it. Got a, massage to the face. It was amazing. And then we rode our bikes and got lunch at our favorite spot. And then it was actually really fun at night. I don't get high very often, but we smoked some weed and we watched Chronicles of Narnia, which was like an excellent movie to watch when you're a little bit high. So that was really, really fun. We just like cozied up in we made like this like big pillow blanket fort that was extra cuddly than we normally, we made a big mess to like get comfy. And it was so nice.
I love that for you.
Yeah. What'd you do for Valentine's Day?
We kind of did. No, Victor put effort in. I kind of did the least. So, okay, just to put it into context, the first couple Valentine's days that Victor and I had together, he went above and beyond. Like, I came to his house once and he had ordered in like 6,000 rose petals, and he had done like this, like it was just everywhere. And then another year he put like streamers everywhere. I mean, he's done some big things. But this year, a few days before Valentine's Day, he goes, I didn't do anything. I have to be honest with you. He's like, will you be upset? I said, no, I don't care. I didn't really do anything either. I said, I bought you a card in January, but I've since lost it. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. I still haven't found it. And so what I did do, so he went to work that day and I found all the decorations I put out last year. So I put out the same decorations. I put out the same card. I'm like, he won't know. So I put out the same card from last year, and just laid out some candies and stuff. And I put like a little, digital Valentine's Day fireplace on the TV that had pink flames and roses, and played some nice music. And then he came home and he cooked a really delicious dinner for us. And then we watched the proposal. And then we watched, because he knew I would like it, we watched all of those videos of like extreme pimples being popped and like ingrown hairs being pulled out. Oh, I love that.
Oh, I hate it.
So satisfying.
Yeah, my whole family is like Juliet, and I didn't inherit that gene.
So we watched that for a while, and then, we sort of called it a night, but it was just really... It was funny because last year I got him a giant card, like a 3 foot by 2 foot, like huge card. And he had just tucked it away somewhere. And I was like, well, I'll just put it back out this year. So it looked quite festive, but it was an exact replica of last year.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And it, I said, our anniversary's next month. We'll do something nice then. Yeah. Once we moved in together, it was just like every day is kind of Valentine's Day-ish. That's not to say I don't love a nice extravagant surprise. Yeah. But I appreciated that he said ahead of time, I have not... I said, you know what? If you want to grab some roses on the way home, I would be over the moon. And that's exactly what he did. So I agree with you about like, set the expectation. And
you won't get disappointed.
Like, I
love surprises. So give me some surprises.
Here's a list you can select from.
Here you go.
I said, I would like some flowers and you can make dinner and I will put up last year's decorations. And I bet you next year I will do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. And then Craig got me like Hamilton and a facial on top of the bikes we got for each other. So I was like, well, I have to get him something else. But I didn't know. And I didn't want to spend, he spent a lot of money on that stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to spend that much more money. So I printed him off some coupons that said good times on it. And they're sexy coupons, wink, wink. So
oh, that's cute.
He was like, this is what you can get me for every gift. I never want anything but this. And I was like, okay.
Love it.
So Craig got some sexy coupons on Valentine's Day.
That's fun. Oh, I also went on Pinterest and I was looking up. He made so much fun of me. I was like, fun couples quizzes or like sexy Valentine's questions. Yeah. And so I went down and asked him like these 20 questions. And some of them, I don't remember any off the top of my head, but some of them were just really funny. And I said, what's your favorite outfit for me to wear? And I was expecting like,
oh, what Craig said?
Yeah.
And
I feel like he was like, oh, like a nice dress. I don't remember. But we had a nice time. We had a really nice time.
It's very sweet. How was your Valentine's Day, everyone?
Tell us in the comments.
Let us know.
It's a fun holiday. I mean, my family celebrates it like it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Or Hanukkah.
I miss it. My mom always made us these like boxes with like keepsake. Like she would like collect pictures from when we were kids and get really cute cards. And like when I was in college, she'd always mail me this whole box, like a gift box of stuff. Like she loved Valentine's Day as like like getting the whole family a little something. So
we had our family Valentine's Day on like the 8th or the 10th, and I sort of felt like I got it out of my system. Like we exchanged gifts and we did, and so when it came time to do it with Victor and me, it was like whatever. It already happened. It's over.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was good Valentine's Day.
One for the books. What else is new with you? Anything? I was trying to think. What else have I been doing? I feel like the past week, so what happens, the cycle of Juliet in our business is that I'm excited by productivity. And then on week number 9, it's a 10-week cycle. On week number 9, I start flipping out and I get overwhelmed. And then on week 10, I feel better again. And then the cycle continues.
I do that too. I don't know if I'm on a 10-week cycle, but something like that.
It's like every other moon I have like, there's like so much on my brain. And so we've just had to, as we grow as a business, get some tax things in order, get some legal things in order. And that was a lot for me sort of just wrap my head around. And now that the pieces are in motion and everything's good and I feel very supported, I feel very taken care of, I feel better.
Yeah.
So that was me basically this past week, just thinking and establishing. So I was like, I need to do some magic and some fun things for me. It was just so much masculinity.
Yeah.
So much masculinity, which I normally enjoy, but it was a lot. So that's really what's new with me. I've just been like helping get our little ducks in a row.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Our go-getter Juliet. Today we had a meeting it was right before the meeting. Juliet was like, I'm gonna register us on here, and like we have like a shared email account for goddessing. And so I'm on I open my phone to check like an Instagram notification, and like she says that, and instantly there's an email bar that pops up, like those banner notifications that says, ca.gov registration something. And I'm like, how did you do that so fast? Like within a second.
Because
our go-getter is real fast, and that's what you get in Quantum Goddess. So if you're listening to this and if there's spots left, that's the kind of gal Juliet is, and she's gonna get shit done quick with you.
So we're building Quantum Goddess out properly right now.
Juliet's got like everything done, and I'm like, I got week 1 done.
I'm on to week 5 right now, I think. But I'm like going through it because I don't know if it's week 1 or week 2, like there's a lot that I lay out for that week. I'm like, I hope everyone's just gonna be like, thank you for all these resources and all this information.
I can't wait to sort of clean up the energy in my own business by the parts that I'm teaching energetically, and then the parts that you're putting in practice, like in a practical magic standpoint. So I'm excited for us to utilize our own course to like clean up our energy too.
We will be anytime, and I know this goes for Sadie too, anytime we teach a course, we also take the course.
Oh yeah. I can't wait to do the next round of Activate Your Magic and level up again. And we have like, profound experiences in our own lives because the courses are pretty much channeled through. Like I was writing out things for one of these and I'm like, how did I even... I know. I was reading what you wrote and I was like, I've never heard Juliet talk like this.
But it's true. But it's like...
It was insanely powerful, incredible information. And I was just like, Juliet, where is this coming from?
We'll have to... do you remember which section? Well, maybe we could chat
just
after,
like the way you were laying out, like... I knew you were going to like talk about a mission statement, but the way you were like able to lay it out so cleanly, so precisely, like there's going to be, it's not like, yep, this week you craft a mission statement. No, Julia is telling you exactly what needs to be, like you're going to be able to go and be like, okay, I need one sentence that reflects this and then one sentence that reflects this. Like it's just so incredibly laid out. It's like, I was like, I don't like these terms, but those like those brands of books that are like Microsoft for Dummies or whatever. I feel like this is like Quantum Leaping for Dummies. But it's like Juliet's Practical Magic School for Dummies or something, because it's just so simple. It just reminds me of those brands of books.
No, I appreciate it. That's a big compliment.
So simple and so just like anyone could wrap their head around it. It's not something like I don't know, you have something so cerebral or whatever the word is that it's gonna be like, okay, yeah, I know I should do a mission statement, but what do you mean? It's like, no, it's laid out there, like everything Juliet has laid out, and I'm just like, wow, I didn't know you had that in you. And
surprise, goddess. I would craft all these sections and then I would afterwards Google and make sure.
Yeah.
I was like, is this how you put together a mission statement? Because this is how I would do it. And it was fairly similar, but
well, that's it's gonna be set apart because it's in a in our way.
In our way, yeah. I was like, let me just double check.
But it's just funny. I do the same thing when I'll like go back to like reference one of my courses or review something, and I'm like, wow, I completely don't remember making this, or like, because you just channel it through and it's not like you're like blacked out, but like kind of.
No, I truly.
I'll be like re-listening to something that a part of the course, and I'm like, damn, Sadie, spitting it out. Like, or even parts of the podcast, sometimes I'll scroll through our Instagram and kind of reminisce and watch an old clip, and I'm like,
who am I?
I don't remember saying that. How divinely inspired are we? It's just crazy because we're just talking, and
I know it's a lot of fun. I knew that Quantum Goddess was going to be life-changing for people, and I know you felt that way. But as we're putting the details and the pieces together, wow.
I know, like we really got something here. Holy shit.
This should have cost way more.
Yeah. That's why you get in the beta launch, because it is going to cost way more next time.
Yeah. So wow.
If we've got spots left, hop on in. We're starting soon.
I know. DM us if you have any questions, or
I think when this airs, it'll be like one more, like a week and a half before it starts, I think. Because February is a short month.
And then it's locked in. That's the group.
And that's it. We have an amazing group. I'm so excited.
We have 10 amazing, amazing women that are going to enter this portal. And I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I think about it. all the time. I think we haven't even created our group chat. Like that all starts beginning of March, and I'm already looking at their Instagrams and getting excited, and I have ideas. And it's really fun. So
it's very exciting. Quantum Goddess.
Quantum Goddess.
Should we also talk about our Intuitive Magic Oracle deck?
I thought you'd never ask.
Is it time to pick a card with the easiest intuitive deck of all time?
I think it is.
Here, why don't you keep holding that cover up so everyone can see? Wow, it's incredible.
I love this deck. This deck has over 60 cards. Most decks have about 44, but we wanted to give you so many more than that. Each card was picked by us, created, designed by us, the whole deck, everything. This is our heart and our soul and our energy and our magic in a deck.
Ooh, we got 2 cards. Okay.
All right, what do we get?
So, goddesses. The energy for the week. We've got solitude. Allow yourself the sacred time to be alone. Reset and invite in peace, calm, and clarity. The artwork is a beautiful tree on its own. And I love this because we have a grown tree and then we have growth.
Oh.
Which the artwork is like a sprouting tree. You are being called to grow, evolve, and flourish. It is safe for you to bloom. So I think what these cards today are saying, solitude and growth, is that sometimes when you begin your spiritual journey, you begin this path towards expansion and growth and leveling up, it can be a little bit lonely because your circle that you've been with may not be on board with that. They might not be in the same place with that. And as you continue to take steps forward and push yourself to continue to evolve, it's okay to give yourself time and space away from the people that don't get it. It's not about cutting people out or not, or cutting ties, but just allowing yourself the time and space to explore this new version of you, and that it's so safe for you to expand and grow and continue to be that person. But solitude is so incredibly powerful.
I also, again, I mention this a lot, but I love the vision of the seeds. They have to move through the darkness before they can break through and be in the light and bloom and flourish. And so if you are feeling like, your seeds are planted and you're sort of blooming, but it's still quite dark, you feel maybe a little bit lonely, just know that may just be part of the process, part of this season of life you're in right now. And as we bloom through, we sort of have experienced that. Like, we had 0 listeners when we started. We had no idea what we were doing when we started. And now there's so many amazing people in our circle, most especially our Patreon BFF community. So just know that the solitude is okay, the solitude is sacred, and it is temporary.
I was thinking back to those first couple episodes, and I think we actually had pretty impressive for first ever episodes. I think we were really excited because we had around 40 to 50 listens those first couple weeks, which for just starting out is pretty impressive, I think. But I was thinking about how exciting that was, where we were like, oh my gosh, we're just starting, and that is a lot of people, 50 people listening to something, the first episode of something. It was very exciting. But now we have almost 70 people in our Patreon.
I know.
And it's just so cool to make that connection where it's it's been 14 months, just over a year.
We have the best Patreon community.
We do. I'm gonna pick up this cover.
It's so much more than just some bonus content, which you do get a lot of bonus content. You get to chat with us and 66, I believe, incredible goddesses who are excited to be there for you and cheer you on and know what your cat's name is and share recipes and help one another grow plants more successfully and show the cards that you're pulling and any psychic moments you're having and the fun, beautiful things you buy. And there's a category and a place for, I think, for everyone. There's something for everyone in our Patreon. And when you join, you get a welcome wagon of love that you maybe have never experienced. in entering a group setting before. It's almost like, oh my gosh, we've been waiting for you. Welcome.
Everyone's like, oh my God, a new best friend. Like right from the get-go, everyone's so excited to meet somebody new. And it's been really cool to see comments and hear feedback about, we're launching Quantum Goddess and we've got 10 amazing people in it. But so many of the people in the group that are not signing up for Quantum Goddess, but they're like so excited for everyone that's signed up for it. They're like, oh my gosh, we can't wait to see what you create on the quantum level. They're like cheering each other on, and they're talking about how they're like, I think like entering this group has been a quantum leap alone, and the things people are creating just because they're in an environment. It's almost like what you were just saying, which I was getting chills when you were talking about being like in the darkness, and then it's like sprouting and all of a sudden having these like sprouts beside you, and like this energy that can flow between you all and help each other like grow. Like that's what it feels like, is like bursting through the dirt and like being like, oh my gosh, look at all of these buds that are on the same journey as me, at the same point as me, and all growing together. It's been so cool to be a part of. So shout out to our BFF Patreon, which is now on Discord, which has been such a level up.
Oh my gosh, what an improvement.
Yes.
So much more organized. Before we had it in Telegram, which we thought we would need like a year or more to outgrow. We outgrew it in like 3.5 months. So it was just, we would go away from our phone and we would miss like 400 messages. And people were becoming a little overwhelmed. And we get that, and we heard that. So we migrated over to Discord, and it's so much more organized. There's so many categories, and there's these voice channels where already some really profound magic has been happening. Girls are planning hangouts, like meet me in this voice channel.
Yeah, the voice channel is like, it's like you can be on voice or video, so it's almost like joining like a Zoom or a FaceTime. Yeah.
We have on the 22nd, which I think is the day after this comes out.
So tomorrow, if you're listening to this, the day it drops.
We have a goddess-led group Reiki session by our special BFF Patreon member, Dree.
We'll link her Instagram in the show notes if we remember.
She's been giving Reiki sessions to different members of our community, and the reviews are so incredible that I
had a Reiki session with
how
Dree.
Was it? Tell us about it.
I was going to say, we should talk about it. So it was really interesting. I'm still trying to place, because there's this weird feeling of, I don't know if it was in a meditation or a dream I had, and then she saw something that connected. But she said, she's like, your energy was like really strong. Like I felt it just like hit me, and I was like, oh, I set the intention, like I'm completely open for Dree. She's safe, because sometimes, we've experienced in readings when someone's really closed off and we can't do much. It's like you have to set the intention to like allow that person in. And she was laughing. She said, normally I feel when it's time to move from one chakra to the next, but your chakras told me when it was time to go. She's like, I've never experienced that before. You were already very balanced, and we put you in line. And I was like, okay, that's good to hear. But she said when she was over my sacral chakra, which I kind of meant to look into this, what symbolically this would mean, but she said she was seeing mermaids like swimming in my sacral area. And when she said that, I had this like strong memory and like chill, and I was like, I either recently had a dream about mermaids or they were in my meditation. Like I was visited by mermaids recently in some form, and it's like this thing like that's like just out of reach of my memory. I can't like place it. When you're like trying to remember a dream, or like something's on the tip of your tongue and you can't quite remember the word. That's how it feels. It's like just out of my grasp. So if anyone knows what the symbolic meaning of mermaids is, let me know. I meant to like kind of look up how that could connect to like my sacral chakra. And then, so it was really interesting because as soon as I closed my eyes, I saw like swirling, and I felt like I was getting pulled through a portal. And then I was hearing an older woman's voice, like a grandmotherly energy. All my grandmas are alive.
Okay.
So I don't know. It wasn't like my grandma in spirit, and it wasn't somebody that I recognized, but it could have been an ancestor. but I was having like these like images of like fairies, like
wow,
like, and like I had wings and I was like flying around, and that was sort of what I was seeing while I was being worked on. And then she said she like worked up my chakras, and when she was on my throat and then up to my third eye, she felt like there was like someone small like sitting on her finger. And I was like, that's interesting, because I was seeing fairies, which I haven't really had a deep connection to fairies before, but this is what came to me. And she said, I felt like someone small, like they were sitting on my finger, and it might have been your mom. But in my meditation, it was like my mom was like, oh, like I'm like queen of this group of fairies or something. It was very strange. So I don't know what to think about that. Maybe my mom's enjoying some time in the fairy realm right now or something.
Fun.
Good for her. Shout out to Barb, living her best fairy life. But yeah, it felt really good. I felt really energized afterwards, and I was having a little bit of anxiety, which is normal for me around my period. Nothing really intense, but I felt like that subsided a lot, and it felt really good. And I mean, we're going to talk to Dree about her prices, but it's only $11 to get a Reiki session with Dree right now. So go book yours.
Ooh, now's the time.
Before I tell her to raise those prices.
Yeah, same. Same.
So thank you, Dree, so much.
Oh my gosh.
Dree I think there's like Dree _of_life_444. Something like that is her Instagram handle. So go check Dree out.
And if you join Patreon by the end of the day or tomorrow before 5 p.m. Pacific, you will be invited to the group Reiki that I'm really looking forward to.
Group Reiki is a really cool experience because you get connected. Like, I just feel like group experiences are so powerful.
I love group. Well, clearly we love a group.
We love a group. Because when we did a group healing session with Activate Your Magic with Valentina, who is Soul Valet on Instagram at Soul VALE. She's also an incredible Reiki healer that I went to regularly for quite a while, and a former client. But that group Reiki was incredible that she led. Everyone was seeing things and feeling things.
Wow.
And it was just that group energy is really, really cool. So I'm excited to do it with Dream.
Yay.
It's really fun.
So lots of fun happening in our Patreon, and there'll be more member-led events like that. And we're really excited to support our community in sharing their art, sharing their gifts. We have some amazing, we have one woman who crochets. We have we have others that sell jewelry or that sell scrunchies or crystals or whatever they are excited about in their small business. Everybody supports one another, and or if you want some feedback of like, hey, do you like this logo or this logo? Like, there's this amazing group that just really wants to see you succeed.
Yeah,
so
big group.
We can't recommend it enough. It's just an amazing place, and you get to chat with us all day.
Yes, so fun. I'm like, man, I've been neglecting my Instagram because I've been spending so much time on Discord.
I know, same. I have to remember. I'm like, oh yeah, Instagram. That's the portal to us.
Yes.
7 days a week.
Yes, come hang out with us.
Yeah.
And we have a really fun coven meeting. Again, if you listen to this within the first couple days of the episode dropping, on Wednesday the 23rd is our coven meeting. So if you join the second tier, the coven tier, we have a once a month coven meeting every last Wednesday of the month, and we're doing a self-love jar spell, and we're talking about sex magic, which is going to be very exciting and fun. And let me tell you, it's the most powerful form of magic that I've been utilizing. So
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's all good. So we wanted to chat today about some of our recent pretty intense psychic experiences, and then sort of reflect on some past ones and just talk about psychic moments, spooky fun. We kind of wanted to have a playful episode of this, I don't know, it was cool. So we had a really big meeting recently, which before the meeting we did a spell, and then the meeting went great. And then just about a week went by. The meeting was on Thursday, and then we're together every Wednesday. And so the Wednesday after the reading, after I had gotten back from New Orleans, and I got a road opening spell candle. So we're like, let's do this road opening spell together to open the way for this business meeting to provide us what we're looking for, right? Now,
because we had done the meeting, but we hadn't heard back.
Yeah. So this was 6 days later. So we sit down, we have my green road opening spell candle. We sort of intuitively both like wanted to create this like road in front of it and then moving forward. And it was really fun to sort of place together. And then which we've done before, we meditate together, and it's really spooky because
which we have to do. That has to happen every Wednesday.
I know, we do need to do it. We need to make sure we do that.
I want to do it today.
And I don't know, it's like, why are we surprised by it at this point? But it's still always just fun and spooky and weird because like we feel the same things at the same time, and we like see the same things because we're being, we're tuning into the same like guides and spirits around us and stuff. But it was really cool. So do you want to start like talking about the meditation from your perspective?
Sure. So just to elaborate, I think we had okay. I'm trying to picture what we had on the television. There was like I ended up choosing first I searched on YouTube for like a road opening frequency, but I didn't like any of the options. So then I did 222 frequency and he clicked it, but then it looked like a portal. Yes.
It was like a circular thing with like, it felt like you were like kind of being pulled into this portal, which was an accident to choose this.
So we had that going. And again, like Sadie said, that we had set up different crystals and items and little coasters with our picture on it in order of like the timeline, and we created this road, and there was a little turtle crystal that wanted to participate too. I felt
like he wanted to
and you know why? Because it's what we talked about. We have to be patient. The turtles know how to be patient.
Yep.
I think. So
they do.
We sort of start like, well, Sadie says some words.
Just to kind of like call in who needs to be there with us.
And we're already starting to get like the chills and like the buzzing feeling and everything. And she lights the candle. And at this point, we both close our eyes and we both begin to like feel our vibrations rising. We start to get a little dizzy. And it doesn't take long before we both feel the presence of 3 women in the room. And this has not happened to us before together. And quite honestly, it doesn't happen to me alone. So we feel the presence of 3 women. And I felt 2 with Sadie, and I felt 1 with me. I felt the women on my left side. I felt them on either side of you.
Yep.
I felt for sure that mine was an older woman, like at least 75. I felt like I did not know who she was. I felt like I did not know who yours were.
No, they weren't familiar guides. They weren't, it wasn't my mom. It wasn't somebody I don't know if they were spirits of humans or just guides or what, but they weren't energy that we had. They weren't familiar.
No. And I saw them in my mind's eye putting their hands on Sadie's shoulders.
I physically felt like the pressure on either side.
And I don't even know if I said, what I did feel was some kind of shawl being placed on my shoulders, and I saw hands on your shoulders. And I think as I said, like, I'm feeling this shawl, and I was about to say, I'm seeing them touching you. You said, I feel hands on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't remember. Oh, and then because this potential meeting opportunity would basically give us what we've been asking for, which is like a newfound level of visibility, which I deeply desire, and it also scares me a lot.
For sure, yeah.
Okay. So I felt like their presence, and the message was, you are protected, you will be safe, you have come here to do this. And as I felt myself sort of pull back a little bit in fear, I literally felt my body being pushed forward.
Yeah.
In sort of a, no, you have to move forward.
Yeah.
Like you can't, there's no going back now kind of way. And it's so interesting because like, as I always give this disclaimer, I am a spiritual psychic medium person who is so skeptical at the same time.
Yeah.
And as I hear myself telling the story, I'm like, oh my gosh, it sounds like I'm making this up, but this truly happened to us.
Yeah.
We felt these women, these older women who sort of felt like, I don't know where they were from or anything, but they felt like very wise, like the wise woman in a community kind of energy.
Yeah, I felt like they were from like different times and places. And that they were like, they specifically that were there for us because they were like, you're continuing on like what we were doing.
Yes.
It was like, we're here doing this with you.
Chill.
We've been working with you all along. All that stuff that you channel, all of this stuff that you want to do. This is what we did in our lifetime. And it's like, yeah, keep going. Like you're on the right track. And like, this is yours because it's important that it's yours and you need to do it. You need to stick with this. It's important.
It felt like, and I have not experienced this, and I don't mean this in any particular way, but it felt like what I imagine some type of initiation would feel like. I felt like we were initiated. It was intense. And then I sort of came out of it first because it's a muscle to be able to stay in a higher vibration for a long time. So I came out of it first, and then Sadie followed, a few minutes later. But it was the most clear, yes, this is happening. Yes, you're going to get exactly what you want. Yes, you will be visible. Yes, you will be safe. Yes, this is important work. You cannot turn back now. Like, you have our support and our protection and our guidance. And then the next day we got a phone call.
The next day. And mind you, usually this phone call doesn't come after one meeting. Usually this phone call comes after
months,
a lot more time and more things happening. Like, just...
It was almost like I was not surprised to get a phone call the next day.
Like, I was shocked and surprised, and also not shocked and surprised
because of what we experienced. I was like, there's no way that all of that happened and then nothing will happen. That's sort of what I felt. I was like, this was too intense. And it really helped connect me to this bigger thing that's going on that I think we don't even quite realize the impact of. We do hear it from people.
Yeah, but it's hard to believe it.
There's something happening here. There's some sort of magic happening here that's really impacting women in particular's lives. And it was just so evident in that moment of like, you're meant to do this on a bigger scale. And you can't get scared. You have to keep doing it. Because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Now that... And it's so funny because, Juliet and I and our manifestation tips, it's like always speak it in the present tense. It's already done. It's already done.
Yeah.
This or something better. This or something better. So when Juliet got the call that it was like yes, let's do this call. Then she called me and she said, Sadie, it's ours. And I was like, yeah, it's ours. Like, because that's how we talk. And she was like, no, it's ours. And I was like, what? I like completely freaked out. But it's interesting because for months, and I could go back in my journals, I have been writing down turning point in March, turning point in March, turning point in March. And by the time that we sign contracts and get the ball rolling, it's going to be March, which is really interesting that came true. Because I've been writing that probably since November. That it was like, just be patient. It's March. Things are moving. March. I kept hearing March, and it's almost March. And this is sort of ducks are getting put in a row. And I think the real work's going to begin in March. So it's just bizarre to, we don't see ourselves as seers, but I saw that.
Right. And typically, even if I do or have seen certain things, it's almost unhelpful. Like and I've been to people who are seers, and I just don't find it helpful because then I become fixated on it or whatever. Yeah.
A seer as in someone who sees the future versus psychic is like a little different.
Yeah. So when I have done my readings, I'm taking a little reading break right now, but when I did my readings, I didn't do too much seeing. I made it more about like, what do they need to know at this moment to help them and everything.
I think that's typically more helpful.
I think it's more helpful, but I think I wrote down, I was something around, I think New Year's Eve, we did that cord cutting. We did something with the Patreon on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And it was profound.
We did a cord cutting. Did I do the cord cutting with you guys? I mean, I know I did it with Aligned AF, which was incredible for those.
It was something for the new year. We did something, a releasing. Maybe it was
releasing, and then a manifestation spell in the same thing. Yeah.
And I kept seeing April rocket ship, like boom. So yeah, we both saw March and April as being something important.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
Naturally.
But we love our little meditations together. They're always so much more profound when I do it with you. I also admittedly don't do it enough by myself. I'm too busy.
Kind of fallen off the train. I'm trying to get back on doing it every day.
Sorting out
it's
stuff.
Same, because when you meditate by yourself, you might receive important messages, and I always take note of it, and I always try to act on it. A lot of times when I'm posting something, it's because I meditated and scribbled all out and then typed it into like an edited post. Like, those are usually my meditations, what you read when I post. But when you have someone else with you, it's like validating, right? It's like, oh shit, we're both feeling specifically three energies. Oh shit, we're both, you with the shawl and me with two people. That's a protective signal. Like, oh, we're both, as you were feeling pushed forward, I felt like I was being like turned towards a door, like at the same exact time. So it's just very validating.
I know. Maybe we can invite them back tonight.
Yeah.
Please come. But they'll be like, we gave you so much.
The initiation is over. You're on your own. No, I think they're probably always with us and would be happy to share more about who they are with us.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling like they're like, yeah, we're ready to hang out whenever you guys are. Yeah, so that was cool. And we definitely need to do our weekly spirit business meeting.
I think so. That was one thing we established this past week. I was like, we probably need to, because I have the habit of texting Sadie around the clock all day, every day.
No, I do to you too, though. You think it's one-sided, but it's
I don't know. I just always feel like, oh my God, she probably wants to not hear from me all day long.
Because I tend to work on the weekends because Craig's gone, and then when he's home, I kind of take those days off. So I think that's why we both, because I feel like I bother you sometimes.
You never bother me.
And you never bother me. But because like I am working more on the weekend, so I'm like, oh no, I'm texting Juliet all weekend when I know like Victor has the weekends off, so you're more likely to be doing social stuff. And then Craig's home like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, Juliet will text me some stuff and I'll be like, oh, sorry, like I want to go to lunch, or, like I just want to let you know, like I'm not in business mode, but you're not bothering me at all.
So we decided, first of all, we realized that we aren't bothering each other, which I don't know why I thought I was, but I just was. We're going to have our Monday morning meeting.
Yep.
At 11:30 every Monday to map out what the week will have.
Yes.
That makes sense. And then I think Wednesday evening we do a spirit meeting.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then we always have our business dinner.
Yeah.
That we do every time after we record, which is always fun.
Wait, I forgot to say the cutest thing ever that happened to me on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Irene said, wear something cute. I'm picking you up.
Oh, yeah. You went on a Galentine's date.
Yes. And she picked me up and she wore her red little heels and her pink strawberry dress. And I wore my little dress. And she took me to Malibu and we had a delicious lunch right next to the water.
Oh.
And here's something that happened. This is funny. I know we're like backtracking, but I promise it's a funny story. And then we'll get back into the spooks. We're at our table and it was at Malibu Kitchen, I think, where at every table they have a potted plant. So there was a table that sat down behind us and he goes, I could tell, I knew what he was doing. So this man comes over, this like guy who thinks he's so charming. He's like an older gentleman. And instead of just saying, do you mind if we place this plant on your table? There's clearly room at yours and we don't have room at ours.
Oh, yeah.
He goes up to Irene, sweet, sweet Irene, and he says, Happy Valentine's Day. I got this for you. And she goes, what? She believes him. She's like, oh, what? You did what? And I could tell, he's like, yeah, you look beautiful. I wanted to give you this gift. And she's about to get up and hug this complete stranger. And I said, no, Irene, sit down. He doesn't want it at his table. He just wants to put it here. And this guy, you know how sometimes I have run-ins with people? He goes, you're a terrible friend. You ruined the magic. And I was like, what? I'm just minding my own business and you're trying to put trash at our table.
Oh my God.
And then I told Victor, he goes, that would only happen to you. That would only happen to you.
Terrible friend.
He goes, you're a terrible friend. I'm like, oh my God.
Juliet, sir, do you know who you're talking to?
And then as I'm processing, like, did this complete stranger just say I'm a terrible friend? And then goes, you really ruined the magic. I'm like, I'm a professional witch. I did not ruin any magic. But
I am magic, mister.
My whole brand is magic. How dare you?
Do you know who I am?
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
I was so tempted and I didn't do it, to tell the waiter, like, to just get up and, like, when they left the bill, be like, oh, that table said they were going to get it for us because they were really sweet, and then just leave. I was like, that would be savage. I didn't do that. But
that's funny.
Anyways, I had a Galentine's Day and then that funny thing happened, which was sort of funny, but also like, what is wrong with you? He was trying to be charming and funny, but he just was neither the entire time. So happy Valentine's Day to that family.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Next time, put the plant on the floor and leave me alone.
Ask the waiter to take it. Or
and then Irene tried feeding the birds and she got in trouble. The guy was like, you can't do that, and came over and swept it all up. I said, don't even try. If there's like a heist that needs to happen, an incognito mission, do not bring me. No. The jig will be up. I have some type of, I am so noticed, I guess. Anyways, that was the other half of my Galentine's. But yeah, Sadie and I were initiated. We did a road opening candle spell, and the next day the phone rang.
Yeah. We got an email that said, what's the best number to call you? And I gave both of our numbers, but thankfully they remembered that we had said in the meeting that Juliet's the more grounded one.
Just call me.
And thank God they called her. I was at Target when they emailed, and I emailed the numbers back, and then I'm like voice texting Juliet. I'm like, I just got to Target. I blacked out. I don't know what I came here for. I don't know why I'm here. I think I have to go.
They call me. I'm like, hello, speaking.
I think I left
that
Target
sounds
with,
good. Thank you so much.
Nothing I needed and a bunch of junk food. So whatever. I had celebratory junk food.
Amazing.
And then I was home alone after receiving the news. Oh, and then I had to teach a class in an hour. I had my final activate your magic, and I was freaking out. I was just like,
activate your excitement.
I was like, Juliet, what am I gonna do? I'm completely ungrounded right now. I'm flying.
Meanwhile, I'm folding laundry. I'm like, it's fine, Sadie. It'll be fine. My shock will hit me later.
Yeah.
Is my thinking about that.
Yeah.
What other spooky or psychic things have you experienced recently, or just ever?
I didn't think recently. I don't know about recently, but I did have this memory that I might have shared this before on the podcast, but I just remembered it when we were thinking about today and talking about like psychic moments, about how it's just funny that I'm like so totally a part of a line of women who are psychic witches. Because I remember when I was little, my great aunt Penny, who her profession is a Reiki healer, talking about her different experiences like seeing and feeling spirits. And like I have this specific memory of like me and my mom and my grandma and my Aunt Penny, who actually, you know what, I'm not related to. Actually, she's married to my great uncle, so I'm actually not blood related to her, but she's in the family, who I haven't seen in years. However, I received word that she's going to be at my family camping trip this year.
Penny and Sadie reunited.
And I have to talk to her. Yeah, because I've been thinking about this since I discovered that I can talk to spirits. I'm like, man, I really got to talk to great aunt Penny about this. Be like, when I was like 6, I hope I didn't make up this whole story. I specifically remember my mom, my grandma, my aunt Penny, and like my aunt Jill, I think. It's all the women sitting in a hotel room and just like having a talk, you know, one of those nights where you just talk for hours and everyone's sharing these stories. And she's saying like so casually, so like this is the most normal thing in the world, which is funny because now it's normal to me, about how like, oh yeah, they're redoing my church, and they're auctioning off some of the pews, and so we got one of the church pews that's in our basement, and this little old man came with it.
Mortimer.
I'm just a little girl, and I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, we keep the pew in the basement, and sometimes when I walk past that door, I see like a little old man, and I'm getting an image of like a man in like a brown coat with like one of those like little grandpa caps on. So I don't know if that's the real image or if I just made that up just now. I'm sure it's correct. Knowing that I can tap into that now, but she's like, yeah, he just hangs out there. That was his pew that he sat at every Sunday, and he just wanted to stay with the pew. So she's just got this ghost in her basement.
Whoa.
That she didn't mind at all. And then she was saying about how and this one's like a little more intense, but her office where she worked, which was like, she was like a Reiki healer. And then I don't know if the rest of the women in her office were also Reiki or did different sorts of like acupuncture and different things. Like, you know, you could come do different healings. But she said that all the time, clients would say like, you know, when I go to the bathroom in that first stall, I feel like I'm being watched.
Oh.
And they were just like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so, because they knew who the ghost was, because it was a woman who very sadly had been shot in that building. Oof. In that bathroom. And I think she maybe had been walking out of the first stall when it happened or something. So something very tragic and sad happened. But this woman, just her spirit was there. And I just remember having this memory of her talking about this. And I was just like, you just go to work and it's not and you go to the bathroom there and you're not scared of the ghost. I was just amazed when I was little. Right. And she's just talking like these are the most normal things in the world. And I'm like, man, I really got to talk to Aunt Penny about that. So I'm excited to see her hopefully this summer.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to hear the catch up with Aunt Penny.
And maybe if she's got more stories, maybe we can like Zoom her in or something for an episode. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. If she'd be down with that, I don't know.
I love that.
But yeah, I had those memories when I was a kid, and I think there's a few other ones, but those are the things that stood out to me, and just how like it was just the way she spoke about it just being so normal. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, there's a ghost in my house and there's a ghost at work, and you know, it is what it is.
Oh my gosh. I went to see my cousin perform in her play. She's a senior in high school last week. And I don't often feel my grandmother. who I was so close with. I just don't feel her often. It's not that she's not with me. Like it's like, our loved ones are with us, but I just don't feel her often. I have fond memories of her, but when somebody's around you.
Totally.
And so we went to the show, and my cousin did a great job. And, she looked so much on stage like my grandma looked as a young woman. And my grandma also was in theater and did acting. And this is her granddaughter. It's like her daughter's daughter. And so that felt pretty special. And I just kept sort of like seeing glimpses of my grandmother in her. And after the show was over, all of a sudden I got this like rush. And I have not felt a rush like this from her. The only other time is when it's like 4th of July and I hear God Bless America, which I'll explain, but
Grandma loves America. Well,
she would play that on piano, and she also, was a performer her whole life. And there was a time when they flew her and her piano in to play like for the troops in the USO in World War II or something.
Wow.
I think they flew her into Alaska or something like that. And I just, though I wasn't there, I know in my heart that's a song that she played at that event. And so anyways, I got this rush and my eyes are like welling with tears. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I didn't quite understand at first. I just felt this like insane, like love, like hit me like a brick wall. And then it occurred to me, I was like, and I was with my sister. I said, oh my God. And my grandma would never miss any of our performances.
Yeah.
I mean, when she had to be wheeled and couldn't move her hands, like she would be at the matinee, the evening show, the next matinee. I mean, they'd roll her to the front and she was there for everything. And so it was like, oh, well, of course she wouldn't miss this.
Yeah.
And that was like, woo.
Wow.
I felt her. And then, because I have other guides and stuff that visit me, but they don't give me chills. Like I have my little business guide that comes to me, especially when I'm driving and is like, double check this. You need to register this. So, but I think he's just maybe like enjoyed working and was gone too soon and just likes to keep working. But this was over. Like I can't think about it or I'll like start getting emotional right now, but I felt her. It was amazing. So that was my recent and I didn't expect it and I wasn't calling it in, and I'm typically kind of shut off from that in public.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a desire for it. I'm so shut off in public. Like Irene and I walked into this antique store, I think yesterday in Burbank. We were walking around and the owner is with a customer and she's like, oh, we're talking about heartbreak and so just had their heart broken. And I just like smiled and nodded and walked away because I was like, I don't want to talk about this. Like I'm here to look around. Like I'm really
not here for heartbreak.
You know what I'm like? I was like, oh, bummer. And I just
I wouldn't stop to talk about that either.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's nice to be in an age where it's like, am I required to have this conversation right now?
No.
So I'm usually pretty clear in my boundaries, but yeah, Beverly Piper just came right through.
It's cool. Like I definitely have like quiet things for my mom, but I know exactly the feeling like when she comes in full force. It's almost like like a boom happens.
Yeah.
Like a sonic boom where it's like when you're like pulled into this like alternate, it's a different vibration all of a sudden. And usually when that happens I start laughing hysterically because it's such a weird feeling, but I have had that been happening like when I was driving to your house before the call, before the big call, we wanted to be together, and like I was like, Mom, you have to settle down, because I was like sobbing in the car. Because she was coming through so strongly and she was so excited for us, and she was giving me this feeling of such sureness of like, yeah, this is happening, like, and it was just so intense. And I was like, Mom, you gotta step back. I'm a mess right now. I just got ready, so I looked cute for this call. Like, it was really intense. And I've had these moments with her again where she's just like, like the same energy that I've got of like, she's just like, Sadie, holy fucking shit, we're doing this. And she's like feels like she's very much a part of it, and she's like, I'm gonna be in this with you, like, and so it's cool. But yeah, those moments where it's like full force and not just the quiet sort of like whisper, it's really intense and really special.
I would love to share the story of the medium reading I got from Megan that opened my whole mind to everything. And I'll be sort of brief with it, but we did our reading together, and I had won it on a giveaway, and I was open to it, but I obviously didn't really expect.
I remember when you told me that you had won a reading.
Yep, that was the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
And
it was while we were at work together.
Yeah. So I was hoping for either of my grandparents to come through because they had just passed away and I was really missing them and going through a lot. But instead, in comes my uncle, who she knew was my uncle. She got his name. And I mean, I looked online because he passed away in 1980. I never got to meet him. There were no records of him. Like, even if she had done a deep search on me, this is not the person she would have ever found. Again, me, a skeptical psychic. So he comes forward. She says that he's been waiting for such a long time, and that so he, now I feel him here. So he was dealing with some really severe mental illness, which runs very strongly in my family. And I've talked about that, and I've shared my own battles and how medication was like the light at the end of the tunnel for me because of this genetic thing. This was not an option for him in 1980. I don't think it existed. I don't think there were SSRIs.
I don't know.
I think you could take lithium or deal with it. Like, I think those were your options. Yeah. And so at the age of 20, and this is a little trigger warning, he took his own life. And it was my mom's brother. And I never met him, but I always felt really close to him. Out of everybody in the family, I looked the most like him. And I just always sort of felt him nearby, but I never knew him, so I could never like prove it or talk much about it. He came through. She shared exactly the way he passed away. She shared a specific surgery that I had, that he was there with me when I was being put under. That just all of this stuff, like, was describing photos that we had, and just, now I wrote it all down at the time, but it was unbelievable and so undoubtedly him. I was floored. I was floored. And when you receive a really profound, undeniable reading, and this was a reading where I just went, okay. I was not leaning in or leading any answers. All of a sudden you think, well, that just can't be a coincidence. No. And what else is out there, and what can I tap into? And are these worlds like coexisting? And in our experience, the answer is yes.
What was really cool then is, so yeah, you won that reading, I guess, shortly before the world shut down, because you did the mentorship with her like while we were in lockdown, because it's, all digital, whatever. She lives in Alaska, so obviously we're not going in person. But then I remember we got dinner together, and then you came back to Craig and I's little teeny tiny studio apartment to hang out for a little bit, and I had just gotten a new tarot deck, so we took that out to play with and did tarot readings for the first time.
I felt like I was on a first date. I was really excited.
This was when we had first kind of started hanging out like as friends, and this was before we decided on this was shortly, this is probably the next time we hung out. I was like, we're doing a podcast. But then, so Juliet had said at dinner like, oh, I'm doing this mentorship and stuff, and I was like, wow. And so then she was like, well, do you want to like try and practice, and like I can try and connect to your mom? And so Julia, of course, is someone that has known me for like a year at this point, or just about. So she knows a little bit about my mom. But what Julie, and this is like within a couple of weeks of trying to become psychic or do this mentorship, Juliet takes me on a tour of my childhood home. She's like, okay, I'm walking through, and then there's like a stair there and a room there. Like, she's telling me the layout of my house, and like that's something that like we definitely had never discussed, the layout of my home in Wisconsin. And she's taking me around the yard, and she's like, oh, is there a pool in this area?
Well, your mom was taking me.
So
she was like, this is where the trampoline was.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, this is a pile of trash.
Yeah.
And I said, is there a pile of trash? She's referring to like the pile of trash on the right side. And you're like, no, there's no trash. But you did realize that for years and years, there was all this like old,
like rubble,
rotted
basically.
wood. And,
yeah. Which I think that the next time I went home, my dad was like, I'll give you $50 if you clear that out. And I did that.
She was like, ugh, don't even look over there. Like,
yeah, we had this like fire pit area that we weren't taking care of.
It's just funny.
But yeah, so my mom gave her a house tour. Just like, it's interesting because spirit will always confirm, like, it, like if you set the intention to, will give you the sort of like what's the word I'm looking for, like proof that they're really there with you. Like, my mom knew what to share with Juliet to make me go, oh wow, Juliet's really connected to my mom. She wasn't going to give Juliet information
like
that
vague.
I'm like, well, I told Juliet that.
Yeah.
You know, like, she's not going to say, this is my name and this is what I look like, because I probably, you know, had said my mom's name is Barb and she looks like me, you know. Like, she was like, oh, I know what I can do. I know how I can show Sadie I'm here. I'm going to give Juliet a house tour. It was really cool.
Once in a blue moon, somebody will come to me ahead of time to tell me to talk to the person in real life later. Like, if I'm going to see them later. This hasn't happened often because I haven't really allowed myself to be too open to it. But there's a member in Victor's family who loves all this stuff and has been wanting to talk to me. And so I said, this is going to sound really weird, but your dad sort of came to me in the shower. Your dad or your grandpa, some male came in the shower and like has some specific messages for you. I was like, do you want to talk about it? We don't have to. And she's like, no, please, let's do it. And so I'm like, he's showing me that did he build you a rocking horse? He's showing me specifically the rocking horse. And she's like, oh my God, he did. I think it was her grandfather. And then I said, are you trying to, did you lock yourself out of the house recently and you're buying those like fake rocks to like put keys under? She's like, yes. So just all these specific things. And then I deliver my little messages, and then I was like, okay, well, would you like a piece of cake? I guess they're passing out cake. And then before I knew it, that had spread through the family like wildfire. Yeah. And it's this funny dance of like, obviously I'm very public about it here now. Yeah. But at Victor's family events, it's like, I really don't want to be the person that's like, would anybody like a reading?
Right. And I don't know if I want to do that for a whole big family.
No, I want to talk about the weather and the Super Bowl and eat some chicken and ask how everybody else is doing and leave. Yeah. I also don't want to freak anybody out because it is, you know, an intense conversation for a lot of people, which I respect.
Very emotional.
So... yeah, I've sort of put that part of my brain a little bit on standby recently, just because there's been so many practical things that have been needing my attention recently. But I'm excited to reopen it and like really spend more time there.
Yeah, I recently, after a few months, opened up 5 spots for readings just because I felt called to.
Oh, I saw that. I loved that.
I don't know. I just heard it was like open 5 spots. That's it. You can maybe once a month I will, or something, or every other month, because I just want to keep that muscle strong, and I do love it. It's just a lot of energy. Yeah. And it's not, you know, it's not just about the money, but you do have to have a good value exchange. And with the other things we do, like digital courses, it's like we can help more people at once with what we're doing, and it's just a lot of time and energy for the one-on-one stuff. But I do like pull so much meaning from it, and I love connecting that way. So I was like, you know what, just like whenever I feel called to, I'll open up like 5 spots and then take them away, and then when I feel like I want to again, because I was like, I don't want to like lose that gift or like lose that muscle.
Well, you won't.
And
you won't. I bet it's sort of like riding a bike.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
My favorite, I don't know who here's a New Girl fan, but my favorite, Nick, have you watched New Girl?
I've seen a couple episodes.
Kind of know the characters. Nick Miller. He's like, he never finishes law school, or he never takes the bar, but he did all of law school, and his, one of the other friends needs like a lawyer, and he's like, it's like riding a bike. And then they do a flashback of him on a bike struggling, and he's like, they changed these. So whenever someone says, it's like riding a bike, I'm like, what if they change them? But no, so yeah, I'm excited to tap back into that. It's funny because I've had plenty of experiences like sitting down for reading and getting an exact name or something really specific or whatever, and then I still have ego come in and be like, Sadie, you're making this all up.
Yep,
and it's
that's
like,
what ego does.
It's like, no, you didn't guess a specific name right multiple times for different people by chance.
Yeah. And so if you're practicing your intuitive abilities, your psychic abilities, your mediumship abilities, just know that ego comes along for the ride.
Yeah. And there's also been times where, something's come through and someone's like, no, that didn't speak to me. And it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. They might not remember or be able to make the connection, or sometimes maybe you miss and it's like not that big of a deal.
Right.
I think there's always
allowed
value.
to be imperfect.
Yeah.
I think we've hit our time.
Don't forget, there might be maybe a last chance to enroll in Quantum Goddess. We're very excited for our group to quantum leap with us. Make sure you check out our Patreon, the Goddess BFF Patreon, now on Discord. It is a quantum portal in itself, really, truly.
Absolutely.
We can't wait to see you there. And we have our Intuitive Magic Oracle deck. We love seeing, so if you already have yours, make sure you tag us in your Instagram stories so we can reshare. We love seeing you use your deck, tag us in your reels, whatever you're posting. Everything is in our show notes to buy, enroll, get on whatever, the email list. What else do we have? I think anything else?
We have our beautiful jewelry line without Charmed. We have our BFF friendship bracelet, a magic charm ring, and we have the Goddess and Witch necklaces. I don't know if we have anything else, but we want to hang out with you. We want to be your bestie, and we would love to see you inside the Patreon. That is where fun is happening 24/7.
24/7. We'll see you there.
All right. Oh, signing off?
Make sure you're following us on Instagram. We are at Goddess Hangs. I am Sadie Olson.
I'm at Juliet.Piper.
Check out our website, goddesshangs.com. Juliet made it so beautiful. Sometimes I visit it just for fun and click on all the links just because it feels like a special place to be. Go check it out. It's so cute. It's such a vibe. We love it. Thank you for supporting us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.